Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is just going to be a quick recent finds video. Stuff I've picked up over the past week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. Um, it's been a very good haul over the past couple weeks because a lot of great things just kind of came together. So I'm actually going to probably break this up into two different videos and just show maybe about half of it on this particular video. But I went through my last record of my purge process. So I've been through my entire collection and got stuff pulled out. So it's kind of to finally, as fun as it was going through that process, it was nice to actually finally get through it. So this week I took a bunch of stuff in for trade and got more trade than I expected to get, which was nice. Then also there was some stuff I put on eBay, which sold a lot faster than I expected. So I had more eBay sales than I expected. And then on top of that, at work, there's this, reward I got for doing some other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was a $150 gift certificate to Barnes and Nobles. So of course, I'm going straight to the vinyl section for that. So it's just kind of one of those 1 or 2 week time periods where there was just a lot of vinyl that came in based off of those things happening. And it's always great too when you can do it with no money out of pocket, which is the best way to ever get vinyl. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go through and show you a few things here. One other thing I wanted to mention too, because this is one area where I found I've been able to pick up a lot of great stuff for extremely good prices. For those that may not be familiar with import CDs, that's a they have a store on eBay, they have a store on Amazon, and they do huge volume. I mean, they do literally hundreds of thousands of sales all over the place. But that's one, especially on eBay, that I watch quite a bit because they always have these random sales that will pop up out of nowhere, where they'll just go through and take 25% off of everything, and everything's usually free shipping. Or like in this case scenario where I picked up a good chunk of stuff with the sales I made from eBay, they had a bunch of stuff that was marked 15% off, and then on top of that, if you purchase $60 total or more of stuff, they took an extra 20% off of all of that. So now you're talking 35% off of brand new albums with free shipping on everything. So just thought I would kind of share that just in case maybe some of you that have not bought there before or whatever else. Definitely a good place to kind of keep an eye on. And it really is. I mean, they do it so often and they make it such a great deal. I do that with a lot of my eBay sales where I will sell stuff and I just let the money sit in my PayPal and I'll just keep checking in on that import CDs to see if they have something going on this week. And then when they do, I kind of pounce on it so I can maximize the sales that I made on eBay. So as I go through this, I'll maybe just point out the ones that I got from there, just in case people are interested and want to know where to get certain albums at great prices. So this is actually a good one to start with because this is one that I got from them in this last purchase. It's what's also playing in the background, which is Method Man. This is Methodical here. Definitely a great album, probably my favorite album by Method Man, of the Wu-Tang Clan, of course. Really like Method Man because he's one of the few artists, especially that maybe are still kind of around today, that I really appreciate from a lyric standpoint. Most of what I love about rap and hip-hop goes from the early 90s back to the early 80s. That really is my golden period. Most of the stuff that started taking place in the late 90s going into the 2000s, it's just stuff I'm just not very impressed with at all, and quite frankly don't have a lot of respect for. Now again, everyone, we all have our own opinion about how we feel about certain music. I'm sure people could easily go through my collection and find tons of stuff that they don't, respect or think is. So this is all kind of my opinion. But lyricists and guys and ladies for that matter too that had just the unique delivery of great lyrics and everything, the way that Method Man did, or you can go back to Rakim from Eric B. and Rakim, like that type of thing. I just don't sense that the same way in hip hop anymore. Going back to Tribe Called Quest and just all those KRS-One, and again, you can name a ton of them. But yeah, that's just something I just don't get a feel for, don't really think exists in hip hop anymore. It just seems like today, the average hip hop artist that gets a hit or whatever the case may be, there's this really simple formula that they use to make a record, and it's okay. Let's find something we can just repeat over and over. We're gonna maybe add a little voice box effect to it, and then let's say it kind of wrong. You know, let's mispronounce it or put like an ebonics effect to it or something like that, and there's our song. You know, repeat it over and over and say it kind of wrong. Repeat it over and over and say it kind of wrong, and it's just like, how many times the same? I don't know. Again, my opinion. I just don't like that stuff. I don't respect that stuff, and it's just modern day rap / hip hop. I don't have a lot of respect for it. So older groups like, or artists like Method Man, again I mentioned Eric B and Rakim. You go all the way back to Africa Bambaataa and all that great and wonderful stuff. And I will give some props though when you talk about some artists that are still around. I think Missy Elliott and Busta Rhymes. Those are two artists who I think, thank God, still bring a creative element to rap and hip hop, even just through the videos and their lyrics and just their creativity. They're still actually trying to be an artist. They're not just following the same patterns of everyone out there. So those are two modern day artists I would give huge props to on keeping creativity alive in the hip hop world. But anyway, let me kind of move on. I don't want to get too far into that, but let me just kind of show you some other pickups. This was a fantastic find. I went in, did a little bit of trade at this one store. It's called CD Warehouse, actually, which usually don't have a ton of vinyl. It's mainly a lot of used CDs. But I walked around the corner, looked on the shelf, and saw this sitting there. And for only $15, okay? So the first thing I thought was, oh my God, please don't let that out. Please don't let the record be all messed up. Please don't let it. And pulled it out. Mint. Perfect Megaforce pressing. And so, yeah, that was a great pickup for $15, especially considering I pulled my copy during this purge because the vinyl was a tad bit rough. And I wanted something a bit more mint. So to find that for $15 was just one of those great days and great moments. Matter of fact, when I took it to the counter and put it up there, the guy goes, "When did we get that?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I guess I'm glad I saw it before you did." He wasn't the owner, he was one of the employees, but I was like, yes. So that was a fantastic pickup. And I do still have my other copy, so if anyone, needs maybe kind of a rough copy that they can, keep until they get a perfect one, shoot me a PM, kind of see what's what. Actually, I'm just keep this in the crate here, it'll be easier. But yeah, that might have been one of the highlights. I got this great copy of Cat Stevens, which is really nice. Of course, this has a song Peace Train on it, which is one of my favorite songs by Cat Stevens. And it was really nice too, because when I first got this and put it in the sleeve, I just kind of stared at it for a while, and something about that like concrete kind of light gray and that very simple piece of artwork, this cover just really captured my eye for some reason. And so at some point, I'm going to try to get another nice copy of this and actually just hang it on the wall as artwork, because I think that's just a beautiful, simple cover. And oh yeah, and I'll just maybe share a really quick story about this album too, because this was really interesting. Kind of sad too, but excuse me. I went to this store where I usually get, most of my good trade from. I left a bunch of records and said, "Hey, I'll come back this afternoon and let me know what you're willing to offer for these." Left this. I came back that afternoon and he offered me a heck of a lot more than I expected, so that was great, like good deal. But then also while I was gone, there was this older guy that came in and he had sold his collection to this guy. And it was, again, it's kind of sad because the guy was basically terminal and, knew the end was near and that type of thing. So he decided to sell his record collection. And, a really, really great collection, a lot of stuff in great condition, some rough stuff in there, but all the stuff that was in great condition, which was a good chunk, was in great, great condition. So, I was one of the, he was actually leaving the store as I was coming back to see about my trade. So I was one of the first people to get the opportunity to look through his collection, and this is one of the pieces that came out of it. So it was a really sad story, and the whole nine there. And there was a piece of me that really wanted to kind of catch the guy and say, well, of course he'd already left or whatever, but just kind of let him know it's like, hey, your collection, at least these pieces are going to be well taken care of, and it's just kind of exactly. I know as a collector how much I'm sure it meant to him, but yeah, so it's kind of a sad story, but this is another one that he had in there, which was Cyndi Lauper's "She's So Unusual." I have a nice autographed copy of this that Billy Creone got for me, but I wanted to have just kind of a mint listening copy, so that was a nice one there. Also got this Birds, Turn, Turn, Turn. This isn't an original pressing, but I think it's a slightly later pressing. But plays mint, which is awesome. Really interesting though, as I was listening to this, I discovered about halfway through the second side that with the Birds, most of their songs start off with some type of a guitar, like I guess we can call it a lick, if you will, with that Birds guitar tone that they use. And like halfway through the second side, it really freaking got on my nerves. Like I almost got to the point where I just wanted to stand up and yell, could you please start a song with a different tone or lick or something? Like it really started, it actually frustrated me. And I was like, that's interesting. But I don't know, I guess it's just kind of cool what you pick up about yourself sometimes when listening to music, but that guitar tone really started to frustrate me. But great album. I love the Birds, of course. Santana's Greatest Hits, which has Evil Ways, Black Magic Woman, Oya Como By, and all that great stuff too. So another great pickup there. Very good copy of Yes, Close to the Edge. Listened to this the other day too, from front to back, and absolutely loved it. It's a classic Yes there. So nice to get a great copy of that. And here's one I was introduced to by Derek V. I'm sure you guys have been around the VC for a while. Everybody knows Derek. And everybody knows Derek has some of the strangest music in the entire world, which is what makes his channel so great to watch, because I discover so much stuff that I would never just stumble upon, in the regular music world. And this is one of the bands that Derek introduced me to, which is Magma. I saw there's a video like months and months ago that he talked about a couple albums, and this really kind of turned me on to him. So this is my first copy of any Magma album. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce the title, so I'm not going to butcher it. You can kind of see it there. But if you look under iTunes, most of the stuff by them is listed under jazz, I think. But I find them to be really more of a, like this experimental type thing that takes jazz and free jazz and kind of mixes it with psych and creates just this weird stuff. Quite frankly, weird, great stuff. And in each album is different, because some albums are a lot more jazzy and some tend to lean a little more towards a psychedelic feel. This one's kind of a good combination of both. But yeah, so again, definitely an interesting band to check out. Very, very cool stuff. Let's see here. And this is one of the albums that I got from the import CDs thing that, again, was already marked 15% off, another 20% off. So, again, if you really want to copy this, that could be a good place to look if they haven't ended that sale yet. Let's see, some other stuff from the import sale. The Script. Very good, interesting album here. Again, this goes back to one of those bands, modern day bands, which typically represents a lot of what I don't like about music, but I do love this album. Actually, I take that back. I love side one of this album. From the very first song to the very last song on side one, it is great, emotionally charged, I guess just music, if you will. You can definitely tell the writing on side one, all of those songs, was written by someone who has been through quite a bit of heartache and pain from a relationship standpoint, and it translates very well to the lyrics and the delivery of the lyrics on all the songs on side one. A great side one. I mean, I really have to stress it. A great side one. Side two completely sucks. I don't like anything on it. So I found that kind of interesting. But that's the script. If you want to kind of check them out for the first time, I would say the two songs to maybe listen to initially would be Before the Worst and Break Even. And I think Break Even is probably my favorite song off the album as of right now. But so that was another great pickup through the import CDs thing. And I got this through the import CD sale as well. Car Wash, the brand new copy. Of course, everybody's familiar with this soundtrack. The song Car Wash, I Want to Get Next to You, and all that great stuff. And typically in the stores, I've seen this brand new that goes for mid to upper 20s, like $27.99. And I think with the sale they had there, I ended up getting this for $13, I think, $12 or $13. So again, a great pickup. Another import CD sale, Patti Smith Horses. I think I got this one for like 11 or 12, somewhere around there. Brand new sealed copy, great stuff. Patti Smith is one of my, always labeled her as the most punk, non-punk, lady like ever. And actually, I have all my Patti Smith stuff filed away in my punk section. Even though when you listen to Patti Smith, there's a lot of her stuff that's far from what you would consider actually punk music. But there's just something about her power, her demeanor, her, just her essence is as punk as the most hardcore stuff out there, even if all of her music is not punk. So, you gotta love Patti. She's very unique and really stood out. So let's see what's next. Oh yeah, another great import CDs pickup. A MoFi pressing of Hall & Oates H2O. Ended up getting this one for only $14, which again for a brand new MoFi pressing is a steal. And with Hall & Oates here, you have Man Eater and all that great stuff. I mean, just another classic Hall & Oates album there. And nice to add another piece to the MoFi collection. And Vertical Horizon. It was nice to see that Everything You Want was issued on vinyl. I think this one ended up being like $8. So this is one of those bands that came out in the 90s. I think it was the 90s. Like 99, I believe. I really like that song, Everything You Want. There's a couple other okay tracks on here. But, it's not like the hits of all hits, but definitely an album that I listened to quite a bit when it first came out. So it was nice to see that they actually put this out on vinyl. And it is on like a clear red type vinyl. And the last one from the import CDs purchase, Joan Jett, The First Sessions. This was a record store day release. And got that one for only $8. So again, another really good pickup there. See, the next few here are all pretty common ones, so I'll just kind of go through these really quick and not necessarily talk too much about it. Although I will say a quick something about these two, actually. Streets of Fire soundtrack, and Mike Oldfield here, Tubular Bells, which is another very common LP. Well, these two were two albums that I got rid of in the purge because they weren't perfect condition. And the guy I was talking about that brought in that collection, I was like I said, I was the first one there digging through it, and I was going a little bit fast because I had to, go get back to work and blah, blah, blah. And so I went through this one box, flip, and went on, and then another guy came in after that. He started going through, and the box I just went through, he pulled both of these out. And I saw him pull them out and set them down. I was like, how did I miss those? Like, I was so wanting to get both these back in my collection as soon as possible because I know I just purged and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, even though with all the other great stuff I got, I literally left feeling kind of upset that I missed those two albums. Well, I went back about a week or so later, and I'm digging through the stacks, and both of these albums are sitting there. I was like, did he get 2 more copies in? What's the chance of that? And he was like, yep. After you left, the guy changed his mind, and I was like, oh yes. So it was. I'm not sure if I've ever been so happy to pick up 2 albums before, especially two, $4 or $5 albums, as I was when I found these two sitting in the bin when I came back. Said just a few days later. So both of those were nice replacement copies. Again, ELO. Symphony. I know you guys are pretty familiar with that album. And again, won't say much about these because you guys I know are very familiar. We're hitting that 20-minute mark. Oh, excuse me. Cars Greatest Hits. Great copy there. Really nice copy of The Animals. Best of the Animals. Which at the same time, actually, I guess I should say I picked up because he had the CD as well. So, picked up both of those. Animal House. Classic soundtrack there. A lot of great tunes on here. Favorite though is probably Shamalama Ding Dong. Yeah, again, you guys know this. It's a classic movie, classic soundtrack, great stuff. Nice replacement copy for Iron Butterfly In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Great pressing there. And oh, this is one I forgot from the import CD purchase. Exodus. Tempo of the Damned. Very nice 2 LP set. It is on like a purplish, orangish marble kind of vinyl. You guys know how I feel about colored vinyl, but screw it. It's Exodus. Glad to have it. So that was a nice pickup. I'm not 100% familiar with all of this album. I've only heard a couple of songs off of it, which I like, but it's Exodus, so I know I'm going to love it. So I can't wait to really give that a turn all the way through. And last but not least, Humble Pie. This is the best of Humble Pie. You gotta love that album cover. I remember seeing that in one of those books, 1,000 greatest album covers of all time and blah, blah, blah. So it was nice to find a copy of that. This is really kind of my introduction to Humble Pie, though, because it's a band I just have not been really introduced to or that familiar with. So, of course, I checked out a little bit of it in the store, then I had a chance to listen to it twice since I purchased it, and it really is pretty good stuff. The one song that stands out on this the most would be Come On Everybody. And I say that, too, because when I heard that, the first thing it made me think about was that sounds exactly like the Black Crowes. And for those of you that know me and have been around my channel long enough, one thing that you know about me is the level of respect that I have for the Black Crowes. I oftentimes, as I've kind of said in the past, I think the Black Crowes are one of the most rock and roll bands of all time that brings all these elements of southern rock, of blues, of gospel, of classic rock, just all of those elements staying very strong. They don't get drowned, they don't drown each other out, but work together so perfectly. And I think the Black Crowes do that as well as anyone. And when I heard the song Come On Everybody, like that's exactly what I heard. So this was a really great introduction to Humble Pie for me. And so I'm definitely gonna look forward to kind of discovering more of their other stuff. So, and outside of that, I guess I will show one other CD that I got. I picked up a few CDs actually, but this is one of the ones that really stood out to me. Eddie and the Cruisers. Great soundtrack. So happy to find this on CD too, because it hasn't been the easiest one to find. So, anyway, let's kind of stop this one there. We're almost at the 25-minute mark, so that's a lot. And like I said, I'll come back, if not today, sometime in the next few days and do kind of part 2 and show the other recent pickups. So as always, thanks for watching, VC, and we will talk to you soon.